of events this evening, and Jeremiah Kioni, the Jubilee Secretary General, or should I ask, are you still the Jubilee Secretary General?
I was struggling to follow a little bit of what was going on, but let me say this, that on the 13th of February this year, a team of people went to Nakuru and held a meeting. That meeting, they called it a NEC meeting, but we have details of the meeting because we even have the CCTV footage. After the meeting, they came and wrote to the Register of Political Parties, forwarding the resolutions that they took and asking the registrar to recognize those resolutions. The registrar wrote a letter recognizing those resolutions and attempting to install those officials from Nakuru as the new party officials. We went to court, we got a stay that was given to us pending the hearing and the judgment. The judgment was delivered today. And in a nutshell, what happened is that the letter that was written by the registrar of political parties, recognizing the outcome of the fake meetings in Nakuru, was declared null and void. You do not need to go to a law school to understand what that means. If that letter is null and void, it means that any name entered in the office of the registrar as an official of the party must be struck off as in line with that letter. Okay. What does that mean? Those who were there before the purported coup remain in office, and if there is an issue that others would want us to sort, they will now have to bring it to the office. And I must say that we are happy with that ruling. We had not gone for anything else. We had just gone for the nullification of that attempt by the registrar to recognize things that were done completely out of the provisions of both the Political Parties Act, the Constitution, and even the party's constitution.
Okay.
And I think it's also important to say that members of NEC or officials of Jubilee were elected in an NDC meeting on the 26th of February last year, 2022.
Okay.
Anybody proposing to remove them through the back door, you are really wasting your time. And I can tell you that you will now. The good thing about this is that the party now is with the members.
Okay, SG. Let me ask this.
The members of the party will sort you out.
SG, let me ask this. The long and short of what you're saying is that the letter or the recognition that was given to the Kanini Kega's team has been vacated by this ruling. Is that your interpretation, or is that the exact interpretation?
It's not my interpretation.
Based on the outcome of these proceedings?
It's not my interpretation. The court used the words null and void. The instructions by the Registrar of Political Parties is null and void.
Okay.
Null and void means it has no effect. If it has no effect, it means that any changes that were intended through that letter were nullified. And then the officials who were there before the letter was done and any fake meeting was done in office. And that is why we will be holding a media presser tomorrow at the head office. The team that you have seen, and you must credit them because they were quick to even order scarves. And by the way, those scarves were delivered to my office, and I said we had not made their own order. And the invoice for the scarves was 15 million. The Kenyans what they were doing 15 million shillings. 15 million shillings invoice. Na scarves ilikuwa kwa kagunia kadogo.
Okay.
And they were delivered to my office at 3. I told them they don't belong to us. We are not made an order. That's when they rushed them to their hideout because they were in hideout. They did not let anybody know where they were. Ideally, if they wanted to do a proper press conference, they should have come to the head office. They didn't. But we are there, and we'll be there tomorrow at 10 o'clock to clarify issues beyond what I've said. And I think it's also important to say this. The issue of members of parliament crossing the floor holera is one of the issues that is before the dialogue.
SG, I'll talk about that crossing.
If it is allowed to continue, we will not have political parties in this country.
That.
Multi-party will be buried.
I'll talk about crossing the floor.
My colleague needs to understand this as I conclude. The issue is no longer between me and them. This is now an issue between them and a national debate through the dialogue process, because that dialogue has recognized that without political parties, people, the voiceless, will continue being oppressed by those in power, and that is why we are actually calling for the maandamano.
Okay.
You again cannot.
I want to ask you this question. SG, you have to let me ask the questions before you answer. You have to let me ask the questions at least, because this was an interview.
I'm losing your voice.
Yes, please let me ask the question. So that interpretation, be that as it may, what happened on the 10th of February? What happened to that? Because my understanding of that ruling is this, that when you went to appeal, they have simply told you that you have not exhausted all local mechanisms, which means within the party organs that then can address the issues that came as a result of the meeting that happened in Naivasha on the 10th of February. Where do you leave that? And where do you leave the point that specifically the Kanini team have not been told specifically to relinquish those positions? It's an interpretation based on the judgment and that final clause that you're saying is null and void. Where do you leave that?
The reverse of that. The registrar of political party has arrogated herself powers to recognize new officials without having done what she was told. And that is why that letter, her letter that was giving legal, kind of legal authority to the coup plotters, was nullified.
Okay.
And with that notification, it actually means that the other people must go back to their drawing board and think again. And I can tell you that the media pressure that we are going to have is with the clear consultation with even the party leader, and we know what they are after. Hii sufuria unaona tunaweka hapa, they have dragged it there because their concern is that we are not allowing them to sell this party to UDA, and we will not allow them that quickly, and, if at all.
That is the
important. We have no intention even being part of Kenya Kwanza. We remain in Azimio.
Yeah.
We will fight for unga. We will fight for one man, one vote, one shilling. And we will not be deterred. And we cannot allow Kenan, even the person who carried this media coverage, ask yourself, how would you be a member of Jubilee and attend an UDA PG meeting chaired by Ruto?
Okay. I'm taking a break, but before I do that,
Uhuru Kenyatta. I mean, what kind of contempt you be showing to
SG again? You have to allow me. You have to allow me ask the question. As I leave, I want to ask you this in just 1 minute. All the press conferences, you said there'll be one tomorrow. All your press conferences, all the elected leaders, close to 50 senators and members of parliament. I don't see any of them behind you. What's happening? You have been left with one. I see only one NEC member always standing with you. What happens that these leaders are no longer standing with you? So who are you leading? Just in a nutshell.
I'm struggling to hear you, but
I'm asking, how comes I always see you in press conferences almost alone with no elected leader, in spite of having about 50 from both houses of parliament? I only see you with one or two NEC members. Who do you purport to be talking on behalf?
Now, let me say this. We will be calling a NEC meeting, and you'll see the members that are there. We have members of parliament, some of them who are already attending meetings in Mombasa and elsewhere. What this team has done, like they have done tonight, is just spinning out propaganda. They have lied to members of parliament, first-timers who have completely who has been misled. They've been told that Jubilee can be recognized as a parliamentary party outside Azimio, a complete lie by the speaker himself. So this is a connivance of quite a number of people, and ideally is something that is being worked out from offices beyond them. That's why they keep going to State House and they lie to Kenyans that they are going for development. And I can tell you that there is, of course, as I think it's also important to mention here, that Kenani, Kanini, Sabina, even Fatuma Duro, all those are individuals who are facing disciplinary cases because of them going against the party's position.
Yes.
Look at it again. Kenani and Sabina are people who benefited from this party through nominations. They are the first one to take a knife and stab people at the back, including the party leader. Really, people you cannot trust beyond the level that by the time.
Great SG. Great. We have run out of time. we have run out of time, but your point has been made tonight. You're still the Secretary General of the Jubilee Party. Speaking there to the embattled Jubilee Party Secretary General, who maintained that the ruling today from the political parties dispute tribunal actually favors him and leaves him right in office with a sufuria. I wonder what he's used to cook dinner today. In business news tonight,